Hello everyone and welcome back to another Paralives video. Before we begin, I need to address a small issue. Uh, if you see the name Gabriel appear anywhere instead of Adrien, no you didn't. I don't know how it happened and I don't know why it happened. So we are all just going to pretend that Gabriel is Adrien and move on with our lives. Anyway. Today we're starting a brand new life with the Marinette and Adrien because apparently I enjoy taking my favorite fictional characters and putting them through unnecessary amount of chaos. And honestly, Paralives made that part incredibly easy. Before filming, I already built them a house. You'll see the full build at the end of the video, but I tried to recreate Marinette's family home from Miraculous. Now, did it turn out exactly like the show? No, because Paralives is still in early access and occasionally remind me that my ambitions are significantly larger than the game currently building tools. But I think I captured the vibe. At least enough that people familiar with Miraculous will hopefully recognize what I was trying to do. After moving in, it was finally time to get these two out into the world. And by out into the world, I mean forcing them to spend hours talking to each other, because apparently romance in a Paralives currently works the same way it works in a real life. Communication. How disappointing. We headed into town where they could change outfits, visit different locations, and generally pretend they were functioning adults. My main goal, however, was simple: get them together as quickly as possible. Because if there's one thing I've learned from life simulation games, it's that nothing good happens until somebody makes a terribly romantic decision. So we started working on their relationship. Lots of talking, lots of flirting, lots of awkward standing around while I clicked every romantic interactions available. Slowly but surely the relationship bar started climbing. And eventually, those cute little pink romantic interactions started appearing. Success! The emotional manipulation was working. Now, I do have to say that romance is still pretty limited in Paralives right now. There's definitely enough to get two people together. But compared to a fully expanded Sims 4 save file, we're still in the early stage. That being said, after what felt like approximately 17 business years of flirting, we finally unlocked the important direction: making a baby. Notice how I said making a baby. Not getting married, not getting engaged, not the discussion of long-term life's goals. No. For some reason, I could not get the wedding directions to appear at all. I tried repeatedly. The game said no. But apparently, having a child together was completely fine. Priorities. The actual interactions feels pretty similar to Sims 4. There are cute romantic animations, cuddling in the bed, spending time together, all that good stuff, and before long, Marinette was pregnant. Mission accomplished, or at least the first mission, because now I had an entirely new problem: a nursery. And let me tell you, I spent far too much time decorating that room. One thing Paralives does really well already is customization. There are toys, decorations, furniture, and most importantly, colors. So many colors. Colors wheel. If you ever spent 3 hours deciding which shade of pink looks best in a nursery, Paralives understands you. Unfortunately, I'm exactly the type of person who will spend 3 hours deciding which shade of pink looks best in a nursery. So naturally, that's what happened. While Marinette was enjoying maternity leave, Adrien kept going to work. And whenever he wasn't work, I dragged them around town looking for things to do. We visited the beach. Now is the beach the most exciting place in Paralives right now? Not exactly, but there are a few activities. You can build sandcastles, relax in the sun, and generally enjoy being outside. Of course, after Marinette careful built a sandcastle, Adrien immediately destroyed it. Like a boy, which feels like a pretty accurate representation of certain relationships.
Lide, Lipuna, Spoketilomi, Ivikitepe, Chico, Mabo.
Eventually, we also visited the museum, mostly because I had a task that required it. Unfortunately, I arrived at approximately the worst possible time. So instead of having an educational experience, we mostly wandered around outside. We did, however, discover snack machine, which immediately become useful because pregnant Marinette apparently required snacks constantly. Honestly, relatable. As time passed, the pregnancy became more obvious. And I have to admit, the pregnancy progressions actually reminds me a little bit of older Sims games like maybe Sims 2, which is not necessarily a bad thing. There are definitely moments where Paralives feels like it's taking inspiration from classic life simulation games while still trying to do its own thing. And honestly, I kind of like that. Eventually, the big day arrived. Marinette went into labor, and I was ready, or at least I thought I was. The birth itself wasn't particularly dramatic. I expected a little more chaos, a little more panic, maybe some screaming. Instead, things were surprisingly calm, which should have been my first warning sign, because clearly the game was saving all of its chaos for later. After some time, baby Emma was born, a tribute to Adrian's mother, like usual. And after that, we got to explore all the new parenting interactions, choosing feeding methods, caring for the baby, learning how everything works, and honestly, the baby is adorable. Look at this. I genuinely like Paralives babies more than Sims 4 newborns. For years, Sims 4 babies felt less like babies and more like decorative objects attached to bassinet. Meanwhile, here you can actually interact with them. You can change diapers, feed them, play with them, and build meaningful relationships between parents and children. When Adrian finally came home from work and met his daughter for the first time, it was actually a really sweet moment. He was absolutely thrilled. Everything was going perfectly. The family was happy, the baby was healthy.
chico.
The future looked bright, and then Paralives decided that happiness was illegal. During a completely normal trip to the museum, something incredibly weird happened. Adrien disappeared, literally disappeared. Gone, vanished, deleted from existence. I spent ages trying to fix it. I restarted the game, I reset the character, I loaded previous saves, I fast forwarded time, I tried every solution I could think of. Nothing worked. Absolutely nothing. Eventually, the game basically decided Adrien was dead. And just like that, what started as a cute family gameplay series turned into an unexpected tragedy. Marinette was left alone to raise little Emma. Honestly, I did not plan for this storyline at all. But if you watch my channel for any length of time, you know I somehow managed to create complete disaster even when the game itself isn't trying to. Still, lives go on as Marinette earned gifts that Adrien had previously ordered starting arrived, flowers, little keepsakers, romantic presents. Things that once felt sweet suddenly become heartbreaking reminders of everything that they'd lost. So naturally, to cope with my emotional damage, I started building. When we first arrived at the lot, it was filled with junk, broken boards, random clutter, and obstacles. For a brief moment, I genuinely considered setting everything on fire. Then common sense returned. Thankfully, it turned out most of the clutter could simply be deleted or sold. And finally, the real building process could begin. As I mentioned earlier, my goal was to recreate Marinette's house as accurately as possible. Despite the limitation of early access, I managed to create the kitchen, living room, bathroom, bedroom, and the nursery. The room I'm most proud of is definitely the living room. The bookshelf, furniture layout, cushions, and decorations all remind me a lot of the version from the show. Some objects still aren't functional, unfortunately. For example, certain kitchen appliances and the coffee machine currently serve mostly decorative purposes, but the potential is absolutely there. I especially love the curtains, the color customization, and the sheer number of small decorative details that help make houses feel lived in. For a game that's still at the beginning of its development journey, Paralives is showing a lot of promise. There's definitely room for improvement, but there's also a really strong foundation here. For now, I thought we'll probably return to Sims 4 content while Paralives continues receiving updates and new features. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and help me my newly remonetization channel continue to grow. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye everyone, I love you!